good morning. What's Earl going to talk about today? I'm thinking that maybe I'll talk about one of the AA slogans. One day at a time. What's the hype about one day at a time? What does that mean? Why can't we take 2 days at a time or a week at a time? Well, the only thing I can say is I'm not an expert. I'm just another one of the bozos on the bus. Anyway, my thinking is this, and I want you to see that pink cloud. Can you see the pink cloud? Oh yeah. My own personal pink cloud. So, one day at a time. I think that the reason that we have one day at a time is because it's about living in the present. I don't know about you guys, but I always had the mentality of like a if-then. Like, if this happens, then I can do this. And I've talked about this before, about postponing happiness. Like, for example, have you ever said anything like, well, if I get the job, then I can be happy? Or, once I get that car that I've been wanting, then I can be happy. Once we buy the house, then I can be happy. If we get married, then I can be happy. And once we have kids, then I can be happy. Come on, man, you're postponing your happiness by doing that. That's why one day at a time is where it's at. The other reason is we get hung up in the past. Yesterday's gone, man. 10 minutes ago is gone. It's all about right here, right now, in this very moment. I have no control over what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, and I have no control over what happened 10 minutes ago. It's all about right here and right now. And so one day at a time is in keeping with that philosophy. One day at a time keeps me living in this day. One day at a time is where it's at. When I live in the present, I have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to be happy, joyous, and free today, right now, in this very moment. I don't have to wait until I buy that cool car, or buy that big house, or get married, or get divorced, or have kids, or whatever. I don't have to wait. I can be happy right now with my present circumstances. Isn't that wonderful? The other thing about one day at a time, especially when you're talking AA, is that you can't stay sober today on yesterday's recovery. The big book says that we have a daily reprieve based upon the maintenance of our spiritual condition. So that means that every day, one day at a time, I have to treat my alcoholism. It sounds like work, but it's really not. It's a way of life that may be uncomfortable at first, but I have to say, it's the easier, softer way. So if you're new to AA, don't give up before the miracle, because it's on its way. You're going to experience a lot of cool stuff. So that's how I work my program, one day at a time. I've been sober about 15 and a half years now, and you know how I did that? Take a guess. I did it one day at a time. You know that feeling that you had when you went to your first AA meeting? I've been there. I know what that feels like. But I know how uncomfortable that is. I know how uncomfortable early sobriety is. It's so out of the norm for us. You know, how do you live without alcohol after living with it for so long? How do you function? How do you get by? Well, first of all, you practice one day at a time. I don't have to stay sober for the week. I don't have to stay sober for the month, the year, for the rest of my life. I just have to stay sober today. I can do anything for a day, right? Come on. I can stand on my head. Well, maybe not all day, but you know, when you break it down into a day at a time, it just seems much more doable. Much more doable. Look at how pretty it is out here this morning. Nothing wrong with this day, that's for sure. It's a beauty. I feel very blessed. Very, very blessed. So living one day at a time breaks it down to a manageable amount of time. I'm going to stay sober today. Not just like I did yesterday. I'm going to do it probably a little bit different. And tomorrow, I'll deal with that when it comes. For right now, I'm dealing with this day, this very moment. I'm going to stay sober. Not only that, but I can enjoy this day because I'm not all wrapped up in yesterday with all of its disappointments and regrets, and I'm not wrapped up in tomorrow with all its anxiety and fear of what's coming next and all of that kind. I don't need that in my life. I don't have to do that anymore because I live one day at a time. And I hope you guys will give it a try. If you're not already living one day at a time, give it a shot, man. It'll bring you that much closer to being happy, joyous, and free. Life is good, folks. Don't mess it up by getting wrapped up in yesterday or in tomorrow. So, if tomorrow comes, be on the lookout for another video sometime soon. Because I'm going to try for that. As it stands, I've got a video today. You guys have a great one, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.